What's going on, everyone?
What's popping?
Well, we had a little bit of a week off.
Yeah, we took some time off. Brought to you by Labatt's Blue Lager. But
and 26 Acres Brewing.
But anyways, we're back. We took a little time off. I think that was a little bit on both of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we fished for a lot of time, and then I continued to fish for a lot of time.
Yeah.
Sunday to Sunday,
worked,
like
fished.
2-week period. I fished 10 days in 14 days.
Heck yeah.
Which is that's a good time. I had a good time with it.
By the
way, this is Bass Now Radio.
This is Bass Now Radio.
That's Lewis.
I'm Lewis.
I'm Andrew.
He is Andrew.
And tonight we got a lot to talk about.
We do. We got a lot to catch up
on.
We got a guest. We got a lot to catch up on. We got to recap Hartwell.
Yeah, we got 2 college series events to talk about. One of them we were attending.
Yes, one we were at, one we were not.
We got an open to talk about.
Yeah.
We got an elite series event this week.
Do you have an open to talk about? Yeah, holy crap. It's been a lot. Yeah,
we got a lot of things going on here.
Week coming up this week.
There's the Pro Series, Toyota Pro event that
on Smith that just ended.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. MPFL.
Open was what? Was that Harris?
Harris.
Yeah. MPFL, holy crap.
MPFL, man, we got a busy episode. We should start this bad boy up here.
Yeah, we should do that. We should have started up like an hour ago.
All right, so guest star here coming
But
on.
yeah, so we'll get into Hartwell and the Open and the Pro Circuit and the NPFL and the Elite coming up and a couple other things we want to talk about at the end. Normally, I feel like we'd brush over this topic.
MLF?
I would at least.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I mean,
MLF. Well,
it's college.
Usually
so
we talk about FLW College, which has now been acquired by MLF, so it's not technically MLF College. But
we wouldn't brush over it. We'd talk about it.
I think we talk about it.
We'd talk about it. Yeah,
we usually do talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was there last year, so
yeah.
We'd talk about it. But we had the MLF College Natty last week, and we'll get into it with our buddy here. But I definitely noticed. I don't want to say a lack of hammers. Like there was a lot of kids who could catch them last week at Hartwell, but I definitely noticed the lack of Brian and Bethel, and Adrian. Those 3 colleges were like gone. It seemed. I think they were all fishing this event.
Yeah.
So, I guess that means watch out for the next one.
Smith is going to be...
The boys are coming back.
Yeah. In terms of my odds at qualifying, unless I really find something at Smith, I know that those guys are going to consist of the top 24.
Yeah.
So I have my eyes set on Cumberland.
Yeah. So,
and the TBD tournament.
Yeah, the old TBD. Jesus.
James River.
We'll get to that hopefully one day.
MLF Championship was this week.
Yeah.
Or last week.
Heck yeah.
I don't even know. The time's blurred together at this point.
I know. But our guest is actually really cool to talk to this guy. He was a buddy of mine. We literally grew up fishing together. I mean, we started fishing the New Jersey Youth Trail in its infancy. That's the word.
The infancy?
Yes. A long time ago. I was like 14. He was probably 15. It's my buddy Alex Johnson. He went to Ramapo College. He fished all 5 national championships while he was there, or 4 or 5. He fished every national championship he could for FLW. Guy out of New Jersey. Guy can catch him. He's down in Florida now. We'll get into that with him. But I'm looking forward to talking to him. I guess I said we'd normally brush over. We wouldn't normally brush over this, but like we wouldn't talk about it as much. But Alex here finished in 5th in the tournament, led on day 1. So we're gonna get a really good look into how things went down. I know it was tough. It was not easy for these guys. So I'm really interested to hear from him. And
their location was weird.
Yeah.
The time of year.
Well, it should have been good. They had that freeze the week before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
The Texas apocalypse.
Yes. So we'll get into it with him, and I'm gonna have him call him now.
Yeah,
so
let's have him down.
Let's hear it.
We'll be back.
All right. So we're on now with my buddy Alex Johnson. Alex, what's happening, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man? Nothing much. I'm just sitting here in Florida, hanging out, fishing, doing my thing.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that sounds like the dream to me.
Yeah. I mean, before we get into the tournament, let's jump, dude, tell me about this. We haven't talked a bunch. What inspired you? I guess you moved to Florida. You're guiding down there. What's going on with all that?
Yeah, so some of my buddies from the Ramapo team, a couple of the older guys, moved down here at the top of the year, and around April, May, when I was getting ready to graduate, they reached out and they were like, "Hey, we're thinking about starting a guide business," and they do a lot of saltwater stuff, but they were like, we want a guy down here to mainly, focus on bass. You want to come to Florida? And I was like, let me think about it. And 2 days later, I pretty much made up my mind. I was like, all right, let's roll.
Dude, that is about as dope as it gets. That's not so bad a deal.
No, it's not a bad deal. I mean, it's a grind. It's not easy starting a business from nothing, but I definitely can't complain because just being down here in general is the best.
Oh yeah, dude. So I'm guessing you got the jump. I think you did. I mean, I would be afraid of saying it, but I think the word's kind of out now. I'm guessing you got the jump on Headwaters and some of them other little holes that were about 6 months ago not so talked about.
Yeah, actually, funny you bring that up because those reservoirs over there, including Headwaters, are the bodies of water I mainly guide on.
Okay.
And there's a couple over there. There's Headwaters, Kenansville, Stickmarsh.
Yep, I've heard of those.
Yeah, and they're all great. I prefer to guide on Stickmarsh because I honestly think a lot of the times it's a better lake, and B, the crowd at Headwaters since like December on has been absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one of our buddies go down there, and I think he said that there was like a line to the ramp or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there will be 100, 150 boats in the parking lot on a Tuesday.
Jesus. And how, dude, what is this place like fish like size-wise? Like, what's it comparable to?
It's weird. So the thing with Headwaters specifically is there is a ton of small fish and some big fish. Like, I'll go there and catch, 60 to 70 bass every time. But 60 of those 70 are 2 pounds or less.
Wow.
And then you get a couple, 4 to 5 range, and then one giant.
Gotcha.
Sounds very New England.
Yeah, it's a weird deal. That's kind of all of Florida. A lot of small males, and then finding those bigger females is a difference. That's one of the reasons I prefer Stickmarsh, because your average fish there is more in the 2.5 to 5 pound range. You catch a ton of 4 and 5 pounders there, which is what I like doing.
Awesome, dude. That's sweet.
Yeah, you can't complain about catching 4 and 5s.
No. Have you broken your PB since being down there?
I have.
Hell yeah.
I've caught a few high 7s and some 8s. So.
Dang.
There you go.
Dang. It's crazy.
Still looking for that DD, but it'll come.
You'll get her. Oh yeah.
I got 2 trips in a row coming tomorrow, not tomorrow, Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
And we're going big hunting with a big swim bait. So I think it could be coming.
Phew.
I like it.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I saw, I think last week at the Open, Oliver Nye, who's the Big Bass Dreams guy, he was throwing a big bait, which kind of like the first time I'd seen that in Florida, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. In Oliver, I ran into Oliver Nye on Headwaters.
No way.
Actually. He caught a 9-pounder on a swim bait.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's one day, before all the tournaments that kicked off, like right before St. John's and Okeechobee and all that stuff. All the pros were down there early, I guess, and jumped into Headwaters just to run their boats and break stuff in. Pete Reese was there, John Cox was there, Carl Jockinson, Oliver Nye, Gray Buck. There was 25 pros in the parking lot.
Jeez. That is wild.
The question is, which one of 3 boats was John Cox breaking in at that point?
I have no idea.
That's awesome. Oh man. All right, so let's get into it. Tell me what went down. I mean, I guess we'll start. Just tell me, like, what was your game plan, what was going in, and what kind of went down in the tournament, and then I got some questions that are Jersey related. So, but
all right, that sounds good. All right,
give me the breakdown.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy to say, you know, but I only caught 1 fish all practice.
Been there.
I mean, Grand Lake was fishing brutal. I ran into a couple locals at the weigh-in and talked to Edwin Evers. He was there at the weigh-in, and everybody was saying it's by far the worst they've ever seen a fish because, they were coming out of that crazy cold spell there in, Oklahoma where everybody was losing power and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It was I was literally running through like half an inch of ice in practice.
Oh, yes.
Breaking it with the boat. Shards were flying everywhere. It was insane.
That's awesome.
But basically, I just tried to cover as much water as I could. I fished from the dam all the way up to elk and just was running and gunning and throwing casts, but not really, breaking areas down. I was just trying to look for cleaner and warmer water. And the spot where I caught my only fish in practice was that spot. It was back it was pretty far towards the back of a creek, which is not what I was originally expecting, considering how cold it was. But there was some kind of warm water inflow or something back there because the water temperature was about 5 to 6 degrees warmer than the rest of the lake.
Wow. Now, not to cut you off, but because of that, was there like, were you the only one that found that, or was there kind of a group of people there, or what was the deal with that?
I'll say this, and I don't want to get too far into it and put people on blast, but
yeah,
I was the only one who was there day one. I was not the only one who was there day 3.
One of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But them's be the breaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went back there and immediately just looking at the water temperature and the water color, I knew it was something special. And like I said, I only caught 1 fish, but I saw a fish on my 2D and I saw a lot of bait, and I definitely knew that there was more than 1 fish in the area.
Right.
So, after looking at just about the entire rest of the lake, I didn't see anything that appealed to me. So I said, we're going to run out there day 1, day 2, day 3, and put all our eggs in that basket, which burned us on the 3rd day, but did wonders on the 1st and the 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in a tournament that tough, that's almost what you have to do. I mean, it's so hard to get on a pattern that you can run when so much of the lake is pretty much dead. I mean, I can't really blame you for taking that approach.
It was just one of those things where I felt like I've seen so much of the lake. Yeah. And I didn't feel like I saw anything else that was even slightly appealing. So, I just, and it was also one of those things where on days 1 and 2, I got a bunch of bites right at the end of the day. So, in my head, I was kind of like, all right, I got to just sit around and I'll catch these last 2 right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The difference was on day 3, I was losing water temperature when on days 1 and 2, I was gaining water temperature.
Ooh.
And I think that's the afternoon bite.
Okay. Now, what was your bait approach? Was it a jerk bait deal? I mean, I figure with that cold, a jerk bait would have played a lot in this tournament.
Yeah. If you look at the top 10 article, I think all 10 teams were at least throwing a jerk bait as one of their baits.
Yeah.
I was pretty much exclusively throwing a jerk bait. It was weird because some of them were in brush piles, but you couldn't get them to eat anything off the bottom. And it's not even they were positioned high in the brush piles, but they would come up out of the brush piles to get your jerkbait. And I mean, for the love of me, I tried, especially on that last day when things got tough. I tried a lot and could not get them to eat anything other than a jerkbait. And a lot of the teams I talked to said the same thing.
Wow. Interesting.
Now, I got to ask, because this was a topic of one of our podcasts recently. Are you a Vision 110 guy, or do you prefer the cheaper stuff?
I was going to ask the same exact thing.
I was actually hoping this question was coming because it's kind of funny. I was throwing a Vision 110 all week, and it is the first time I've ever thrown a Vision 110.
Wow.
Okay.
How about that?
How about that?
My buddy Andre, shout out to him. I have been a Vision 110 hater because I'm like, dude, I'm not spending $25 on a jerkbait. I catch plenty of fish on the jerkbaits I use. I was like, I don't feel the need to pay 3 times what I'm paying when I genuinely feel like I'm catching just as many fish as you, which I think in most case scenarios is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have also caught fish if I threw a different jerkbait. It was just, I just never tried.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm locking this in my hand. But, you know, for this tournament, I was like, you know what? I can justify spending $25 for a tournament this big. I'll buy a couple. And I literally bought 2.
Oh my God.
And I lost one of them. I was literally throwing one jerkbait the entire week.
That is awesome.
Heck yeah.
So you're a believer now, I'm guessing.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things where, like, I still don't believe it, but
right.
I'm going to be now forced to buy them for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, it's like one of those things, like, it's confidence is so much in fishing, and if I'm not throwing it, I'm going to just be thinking about it the whole time.
Dude, I was going to say exactly that, not to get too far off topic. I mean, we are talking about jerkbaits in a cold weather tournament, but ever since I started throwing one, if I'm throwing a different jerkbait, I feel like if I pick that one up, I'm going to get bit more.
100%. Actually, my first experience with the Vision 110 was in Florida. And it was with our buddy Amron, and he was throwing something else. I can't remember what he was throwing. I want to say Rapper or something. I was throwing a 110, and I was out fishing the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to end up buying these.
I know. Dude, and it's so funny, like, the same thing happened to me last week at Hartwell. I refused to throw it in practice just because I didn't want to lose it. And I was throwing everything else, and I'd make 2 casts and put it down. First morning of the tournament, I threw that thing for like an hour just because it was a Vision 110. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's just something about that thing. That's so funny that you just fell into it.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more like that with like everything. Like, I have a certain jig that I'm stuck with. I have a certain flipping bait that I'm stuck with. I have a certain, and it's just like, it will constantly bug you if you're not throwing what you want.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. As Andrew knows, and as many of my buddies know, I am a total weirdo. And if I am throwing something, like, even if I put a Kitech on a hook and it's tweaked off to the side, if I make a cast without getting a bite, I'm throwing that Kitech out and putting a new one on. Like, I'm the same way, dude. I don't know if it's a Jersey thing or what it is, but I get it.
It could be a Jersey thing just because, you know, we get such little bites up there. It's like, oh, man, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to wrap it up as a Jersey thing. That's my thing. I just think it's a Jersey thing.
Yeah, I'm super weird with that stuff. And I know you are too. I remember we've always had conversations and you've always been the same way. That's awesome.
100%.
And just to be fair, it doesn't continue upwards. I can tell you New England, not the same.
It stays in the crap state.
Stays in Jersey. I don't know about New York, but it's definitely Jersey.
Yeah.
We do it different. Now, on the topic of Jersey, dude, I can only imagine, like, when I saw how rough those weights were on day one, and I bet you would have been the exact same way, and I bet you've been the same way about different tournaments and seen results in the past that I am. Dude, when I see people sucking, all I can think about is how badly I want to be fishing that tournament. So I can imagine you were feeling it.
I was saying that all week. Like, so we were staying with 4 other teams in a house.
Yeah.
And like I said, I only caught 1 fish in practice.
Yeah.
That was the only fish landed in the whole house.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, I think like 50 something teams double blanked in the actual tournament.
Yeah, I did see that.
I mean, and I was so excited about that. I was like, yes, dude.
Yeah.
But like, even with that, you know, because it's happened to me over and over and over again, college fishing. You know, all day on day one, I was like, dude, we don't have nearly enough. Somebody's gonna bust 17. Somebody's gonna bust 18. I was like, I'm telling you right now, these kids, especially being at the national championship when it's the best of the best, I'm telling you right now, these kids are gonna bust them.
Yeah.
And I had like a little bit under 12 pounds on day one.
Yeah.
And that put me in 9th after day one. And I was running back to the ramp being like, I hope I'm top 30.
Right.
You know, and then after I saw the weights on day one, and I knew before we went fishing that our day 2 was going to be better, just based on the fact that things were continually warming up. And
okay.
At the end of the day, we caught a bunch. So I knew they were moving into the area. So after I saw those weights on day one, I was like, oh, it's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like, man, I hope they struggle again.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Okay, see, now that I could tell you continues up in Rhode Island.
I love
Rhode Island is similar in that if you come in with a limit on some days, it's like, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I won a Thursday nighter this summer with 6 pounds.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how it is.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So, dude, tell me about the in the moment dropping. What is it's the biggest? It was the biggest bag of the tournament, was it not?
Yeah, it was the biggest bag of the tournament.
Dude, what's going through your mind? How did that go down? There's got to be some awesome moments in that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy day because I caught 2 over 5 that day, and I caught the first one like, I don't know, 10 casts in.
Oh my God.
And it hit the deck and I just stared at it. I was like, I was shaking so bad. Because right there I was like, dude, if I just catch 4 more fish, like regardless what the size of them are, I'm fishing tomorrow.
You're in it. Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, that's half of my bag.
Yeah.
Like, if I catch 4 more fish, as long as they're keepers, I'm fishing tomorrow. And then, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes later, my second fish is the second big one.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, dude, I think that's bigger. I was like, that might be bigger. And I put it in the live well, and I'm like, dude, we have yesterday's weight for 2 fish.
Oh, my God. That is awesome.
And dude, I like, after I caught that second fish, I was like, hang on, I got to just sit down for a second.
Yeah.
Take the trolling motor for a hot second. Like, I was shaking like a leaf because it happened so fast. I knew we were going to fill our limit.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy cow. And then, you know, I wound up, I caught the third one, a small keeper, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later. And then caught the fourth one like another 20 minutes later.
Wow.
And then I was stuck on 4 for like 4 hours.
Oof.
And yeah. And we were doing because on day 1, I was the second to last boat to take off. And so on day 2, I was the second boat to go out. So I had an earlier time in, so I had less time to fish. So I started kind of panicking, which actually I'll stop just real quick because you'll like this and interject a story about day 1.
Yeah.
Took off second to last boat. I'm driving out of Wolf Creek where the takeoff is, and my boat goes, beep. I'm out of oil, and I didn't have any oil in the boat.
Oh.
But I remembered I had a thing of oil in the truck. I turn around, I go back to the launch, I drop my partner Zach off. He runs to the truck, grabs oil, I fill the reservoir up, and take back off. So now not only have a second to last boat number, but I just had like a 45-minute detour having to put oil in my boat.
Oh my God.
So that's how the tournament started. But anyway.
Jesus Lord.
Back into it. So now it's day 2. Like I said, I have 4 fish, and there's only about 45 minutes left before I have to turn around and go back.
Yeah.
And I catch 3 fish on 3 consecutive casts.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then my partner Zach catches 1 while I'm calling the other one. It wound up not helping, but we caught 4 fish in like 10 minutes, and I was like, all right, let's just go. Like, I was like, we have too much weight. Like, I'm not getting stuck out here. Because, you know the struggle. I don't have a brand new boat. I'm praying when I'm turning the key.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, I know it all too well.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to try to start this engine. And if it starts, we're going back right now.
Yeah.
So I run back, and we were probably the first 10, 20 boats to weigh in. And I knew we had a decent bag.
Yeah.
But I had overestimated the day before. Like I said, I had just under 12, and I think I was telling everybody I had 13.
Okay.
So I was like very cautious the next day, and like I looked at them and I'm putting them in the bag. And I'm like, I got like high 14, maybe 15.
Yeah.
And my buddy Jason is like, dude, you have 17 pounds. Like, as we're walking the scale, I'm like, no shot. And I put it in the thing, and the team in front of me looks in, and they're looking around my fish. I'm like, bro, you got like 17, 18 pounds. I'm like, dude, I really don't think I do. And I'm like looking at him, I'm looking at the big one, and I'm, dang, those are big fish.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get up there, and I had a feeling, we were going to be leading it, but I didn't think we were going to hold it because, again, in my mind, I'm like, these kids catch them so good. Like, if I caught them this good, they must have just turned on as a whole today.
Yeah.
And it didn't. I think the weights were actually worse on the second day overall.
Oh, my God.
So I dropped that bag, and it was 17-14,
yeah.
I believe, is what it shaked out to. And I don't know if you watched the weigh-in or saw the clip, but I was like jumping around on stage before he even said the number. And Kevin Hunt was like, all right, well, you don't got to go and spoil it. Calm down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was insane. And I walked off, the other side of the stage, and I didn't even make it down the steps. And like, TV and camera guys are jumping on me. They're like, let's go. We got to hook you up with a mic, and we got to do an interview. And I was like, for what? Like right now? Like, and they were like, yeah, you're going to be leading it tomorrow. And I was like, the weigh-in just started.
Oh my God.
Like, the one camera guy was like, trust me, you're going to be leading it tomorrow. Let's go.
Oh my God.
And I had to go over there and do freaking interviews, and then, take pictures and do an interview with Jody White and everything. And it was just like, so much happened so fast. I didn't even realize what was happening. And I turned around and walked back to the tank, and the weigh-in's wrapping up. I'm still in first. And I was like, holy cow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool feeling.
Dude, it was like the craziest day of my fishing life for sure.
That is fantastic, dude.
Like, I felt like an A-list celebrity for like 3 hours.
Yeah, dude. I mean, regardless of how it all shook out, big congrats. I mean, just that is fantastic. That is an amazing experience, especially. And I mean, for those, I think I mentioned it before you came on. This is your last college tournament, right?
Yep, that's it. That's the career ender.
I mean, dude, it's hard. I mean, obviously the win is the goal, but it's hard to end it much better than that.
Yeah, this is what I've been telling everybody this line, but like, if you had told me before the tournament, I mean, if you had even told me after day one, that I was finishing fifth, I would have been like, all right, sign me up.
Yeah,
that worked. Like, that would be freaking so sick. Like, my goal was always like, oh, I want to make a top 10. I want to have a camera boat. Like, that would be so cool. But then to be leading it is just like a completely different feeling. Like, going into a tournament this big, you almost don't even register that like winning is an option.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's
just like I want to just catch as many fish as I can and not embarrass myself.
Yeah.
And then, but when you're there and you're like, holy cow, like, I could win this deal.
Yeah.
And then to lose it just a few hours later is like the worst feeling in the world. I mean, simultaneously, that day 2 was probably my favorite day of fishing of my life, and that day 3 was probably my least favorite day of fishing.
From the highs to the lows, man. That's the game.
Yes, it's unfortunately how fishing goes.
It's insane, man.
There's no better way to sum it up. There's no better way.
That third day was so unbelievably brutal because, like I said, with the dropping water temperature, like, I got there and right away, first thing in the morning, I knew we were screwed. I was like, oh, it's done. I was like, I hope we can catch 5 and like just see what happens. Like, I was like, I know it's not going to be good. Because for whatever reason, and I talked about this with a couple guys down there after the tournament, trying to figure it out, and I still don't 100% know what it was, but between day 2 and day 3 was the warmest night of the tournament, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to bust them up tomorrow. Like, it's going to be even better.
Yeah.
And I got there, and the water was 5 degrees cold.
Oof. That's rough.
I don't know if that inflow of water in the back of there, just like, I don't know where that water's coming from, but it must have changed from warm to cold water. That's the only thing I can think of, because, I mean, the weather wasn't doing anything. At least it wasn't doing anything overnight enough to make it drop that much. I mean, it was kind of cloudy on the third day instead of sunny like it was on days 1 and 2, but I mean, the temperature was where it needed to be.
That is wild.
So I really don't know what happened there.
Huh. That's wild. I mean, either way, man, just fantastic. So I don't remember exactly. I fished the Natty, as you know, we fished it together last year. What happens? Don't you get some kind of qualification or something for 5th place?
So in years past,
yeah. I forgot about all that. There's a whole, I'm real interested to hear this. Go ahead.
in years past, what it used to be is first place goes to the Forestwood Cup. Second place goes to the Toyota Series Championship.
Okay.
And third through 5th place go to the All-American.
Okay. Okay, that sounds right.
That's what it was last year. This year, it was first place goes to the Toyota Series Championship. Second place goes to the Toyota Series Championship as co-anglers. Third through 5th.
And third does what?
Third through 5th don't go anywhere anymore.
Really?
They just completely got rid of the All-American deal of it.
Oh, God.
MLF for you.
That is...
unless Kevin neglected to tell me yet, to which point I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I'm 99% sure I'm not going anywhere.
Dude, that is kind of beat.
Yeah, super beat.
I mean, I can't say I'm all that surprised because of how much MLF sucks, but God. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm looking at it right now. First place gets the boat, and the Toyota Championship is pros. Second, Toyota Championship is pros. Third, co's. That is it.
Yeah. And which is weird because it's not like they got rid of the All-American. Like, the All-American is still happening.
There's no reason why you guys shouldn't be able to go and fish the All-American.
I don't get it, man. They're just, it's crazy. It's the bigger college fishing gets, the less they give us across all platforms. Really,
It seems that way.
Back in the day, freaking, you used to win $50,000 at a qualifier.
Oh my God!
And now, what is it, like 2,500? Like,
Yeah,
it's just, you know.
We'll have to argue that sometime.
we will.
It might be a good,
We'll have to talk about
future episode right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
The
man,
interesting evolution they gave to us. But, you know,
you're not
what it
kidding.
is.
You're not kidding. Well, either way, man, awesome job. What's obviously, aside from your guiding, what do you got? You have any tournament future ideas, trails, things you're looking at?
Yeah. So I guess I'll use this platform to give a quick plug to shout out to Starbright and Startron, who are title sponsoring me this year, which is allowing me to continue my career. And I'm going to be fishing all three of the Northern Toyota Series tournaments this summer.
Awesome.
For July, August, and the beginning of September, I'm going to come back home to Jersey for about 2.5 months, and I'm going to be fishing the Toyota Series.
Sweet.
There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That is
pretty
awesome,
excited
man.
about that. You know, I saw the schedule, and it's Champlain, Thousand Islands, Potomac.
Okay.
And that's just like, I had to, that's like a schedule tailor-made for me, except for maybe Thousand Islands, because everybody catches them there. But,
yeah.
Champlain and Potomac have me very, very excited.
Yeah, I'm the same way as you with that, except for I feel like I can. That's how I feel at Champlain. Champlain, I'm like, dude, I can catch them, but so can everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have.
I fish Champlain so much that I'm not expecting to be like a local favorite who's going to bust it wide open, but I think I can hang.
Yeah. I hear you. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, awesome. You want to, what's your, I mean, obviously I know it and stuff. Give me your socials and stuff. What do you want the people to follow you on? Yeah,
for sure. So my Instagram is at Alex Johnson Fishing. I recently changed it from the infamous John Hockey.
The OG John Hockey.
You know, a lot of people were upset about that, but it had to be done, you know, to try to further a career. People couldn't find me on Instagram.
I hear you.
Like, I thought your name was Alex, not John. But, you know, so my main platform where I do most of my social media is on my Instagram at Alex Johnson Fishing. And then for the guide stuff, we run a page that is Zcon_fishing. The guide company's name is Zcon Fishing, and we also have a YouTube channel attached to that.
Okay.
You know, all three of us who are in the service do YouTube videos. I edit them because that's actually what I went to school for, was for video stuff, even though I'm not really doing anything with that now, but whatever. So we have a YouTube channel attached to that Instagram, which is just Zcon Fishing. And then, you know, if you check out that Instagram at Zcon_fishing, you can find the YouTube channel there and keep up with all the stuff that's going on in Florida. But as far as all my tournament stuff, you're going to find that on Alex Johnson Fishing on Instagram.
Awesome, dude.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on, man. It was cool hearing how it was done down there. So
absolutely. And hey, if you want to come on, give us some Toyota updates. We'd love to hear them come summertime.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, you know, I've known Lewis forever, so I've been around. I've been watching some of the pods. I've been checking it out for a bit, and it was awesome to come on. I'll come on whenever you guys want, for sure.
Awesome.
Sweet, man.
We'll be glad to have you anytime. All right, buddy.
Man, just give me a ring and I'll be there.
Sounds great. Well, good luck with your guide service, dude. I know you're going to kill it, and I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, man. Same to you guys. Good luck in college fishing this year. I know, actually, I wanted to say this at the top, and I forgot, but congrats.
I appreciate it, man.
Getting it done early and securing your spot down there. I know you were probably pretty pissed he got moved for Norman, but I mean, can't complain once you get in.
Oh yeah, I was, but I had to get angry at him. That was probably the worst thing they could have done for the rest of the field.
Revenge tour.
Yeah, man, big time revenge tour this year. You know it.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. They don't announce where the championship is yet, right?
Of course not. No. God, no. Yeah. Come on.
Well, we do have a sneaking suspicion that it may be
Why would
north.
you think that? Yeah, we're thinking north. We're praying north. We're crossing fingers north. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I think I actually watched one of your podcasts recently where you guys are talking about that. But,
yeah.
I mean, wherever it is, man, good luck. I mean, there's nothing better than being able to fish the rest of the season with that weight off your shoulders. Because I did the same thing this year. This was the first time that I qualified at the first tournament I fished. And being able to fish the rest of the tournaments just with, like, no weight on your shoulders was amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to fish the rest with crippling back pain.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I remember my sophomore year, it took till the last tournament, and we were in the last place to qualify.
Oh, my God.
Hey, he's got experience with this, too.
Yeah, I did the same thing last year.
Sitting at that weigh-in was brutal.
Yeah, I know. I think we all know it all too well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on, brother. We're going to get into Hartwell now, actually. So if you want to hear how it's done, tune in.
Yep. I'll be listening. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take care.
We'll see you, man.
All right, I'll talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. All right.
So that's it. That was
Alex.
That was Alex.
It was awesome.
He sounded like he kicked butt there for the first couple of days.
Yeah.
And then that water change, man.
I know.
That screws everyone.
Freaking worst. I want to take a 30-second break. I'm sweating my balls off. So I'm going to take the sweatshirt off and get a drink, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Peace. We're back.
Okay, we're back.
I took my break. I got my shirt off. I feel good.
I'm still wearing the same thing. This segment
is brought to you by Blue Moon.
It's still 26 acres.
And it's also brought to you by my missing tooth. For those who are watching on the YouTube machine, you may have noticed my tooth being gone. That should probably be taken care of this time next week, we hope.
You want to tell them how you did it?
Yeah, I dropped my phone on my face while laying in bed.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dangers of iPhones.
Yeah. No, I broke it when I was like 8 years old and just rebroke it. I'm still holding this here.
So yeah, it was great having Alex on, talking about MLF.
Yeah, man.
We never went over who won that.
I want to give
a shout out to the winners.
I want to give a shout out to, and I lost it. Hold. Drury University won it. They won it by not much, I don't think. I think it was pretty tight up there at the top. Cole Breeden and Cameron Smith, congrats, guys. 3-day total of 41-10. They actually won by a pound and a quarter, so pretty solid margin of victory for such a crabby tournament. Just solid weights all 3 days. 13-14, 13-2, 13-10. Just consistent, solid. They stayed with it the whole game and won. I mean, that's how it's done. Alex and them had a huge bag day 2, finished in 5th. They had 3 fish on day 3, unfortunately. Had, as he said, a really, really rough day. Everyone else didn't. I think Alex had the biggest bag of the tournament by like a lot. There might have been one 16-pound bag. I'm going way down the leaderboard here trying to find that bag. No, second biggest weight was 14-15. Yeah. So they had the biggest bag of the tournament by 3 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, just sacked them day 2. But yeah, man, rough tournament. I think day 1 when we were in Hartwell, I looked at the results and it was like 70 zeros day 1. I mean, just bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do enjoy a tough tournament. I would have liked to fish that, but I also liked the tournament we had.
Yeah.
A lot of limits. A lot of fish caught.
Yeah, I was going to say complete opposite tournament.
Yeah.
He was saying that you could only catch him doing a couple things. Everyone was throwing like the same thing.
Yeah.
Hartwell, Like the top 10 was doing like 10 different things for the most part.
All over.
It was all over the place.
All over.
Top of the lake, bottom of the lake, deep, shallow, in between.
Everywhere.
Finesse, big jigs, doesn't matter.
Looking at them with your eyeballs, looking at them with your live scope. It was everything. Everything was on the table pretty much.
We were there.
I'd imagine there were some topwater fish caught. There were probably some, not by me.
To try and catch
I
one.
did too.
I didn't make it happen though.
I agree. I did the same thing. But yeah, awesome tournament. I had fun.
I was there.
Oh man, yeah, it's a good one.
So, anyways,
Who won? What happened? I don't even know who won. I know Carson Newman won, and I know where I finished, and I don't know much about everybody else.
if I could get my phone code to work. There we go. All right, so Ben Cully, Hayden Gaspar,
Yeah,
Carson Newman, they had a 2-day total of 35 pounds, 10 ounces.
and I believe they won flipping a jig, throwing a chatterbait up in the Tuglu
Yeah.
at the backs of docks.
Which just completely blows my mind.
Yeah,
Because if anyone went and watched my practice video from 2 days ago at this point, or a day ago, I don't know, it's on my YouTube, it's the last one.
yeah,
I went up to Tougaloo third day of practice, I believe, or fourth day, and I got one bite up there.
yeah.
And that was it. I fished it for like 4 or 5 hours, and I'm like, well, this place is crap compared to Seneca. I don't know why I'm up here.
Yeah.
Ran out of it.
I would imagine it was very similar to what I experienced on the bottom end of the lake, in that they, I think, stumbled on some shallow largemouth that were pushing up. And I'll get into further about what I did and how I caught them. But I think it was similar in that the shallower fish were to be had, but I think very small and very specific areas were where those fish were at. Because
for sure.
I think there was a lot of them when you found them, at least in my experience, but it was not like every cove and every dock in the lake had a fish on it.
Yeah, I had found a couple coves mid-lake,
Yeah.
which is where, if anyone saw the great video that Lewis posted where I was throwing a float and fly, that's where that got inspired. I had found 2 coves, and it was just, I mean, I can't even tell you how many coves I ran into that week. And it was 2 coves where you got all the way to the back. Mm-hmm. And it was aquarium.
Yep.
And it stayed an aquarium, so no one was catching those fish.
Yep.
So I don't know. I guess they just weren't biting. It was a good tournament though. A lot of fish caught. Weights were all pretty close.
What was top 10 cut?
So top 10 was, if we had a day 3, you would have needed.
Or it would have been top 12 for day 3. If we had a day 3, it would have been top 12, and that number would have been.
True. Fact. Britt Myers. So 28-14 was their 2-day total.
14 and a half a day. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'd like to note big time props to myself for calling the cut line weight.
Oh, almost spot on. I was spot on.
Spot on.
Spot on.
And
the baits.
The winning baits.
It's spot on. That was spot on.
I had it at 12 and a half a day. It took 25-1 to qualify. I had it at jig and chatterbait. It won with a jig and a chatterbait. So I'm the best there ever was. That's all I have to say.
But yeah, you qualified. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Finished in 19th.
Yeah, heck yeah.
What did you have for 3-day total?
I had 26.5.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had a phenomenal practice. I did. Like I just said, I had an area way down the lake. I mean, as you saw,
at the bottom of the lake.
At the bottom. I burned every ounce of gas on my boat on day 1. I took it really easy on day 2, so I didn't burn every ounce of gas in my boat on day 2. I was running way down there. I had a couple places where I saw a lot of fish in practice. I knew that my biggest hurdle would be getting them to bite. I knew where those fish lived. I knew where the winning fish lived. I knew for a fact if I could catch what I had seen in practice, I would have won the tournament. And after seeing the weights, that was true. I saw 20 to 22 pounds of fish for 4 days straight, and in different places, but specific places. Like it was a specific deal. Creek channel had to run in the back. Water had to be clean. That was a big deal. Water,
100% a big deal.
I mean, gin clean, 10-foot visibility, like really, really, really clean for what I was on at the bottom of the lake. Obviously, those guys up in the Tuglu, I doubt it was the same.
You can find that mid lake. That's with the two coves that I had seen all those fish. It was the same deal.
Yep.
Deep creek bed all the way back, super clear water. So.
Yep. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to get those fish to bite. I was wary of the fact that those fish might not bite. So I had a backup spotted bass deal. I found two days before the tournament. I had 3 brush piles that were loaded with them, like 10 to 15 fish, and all 3 of them. Pulled up in practice, made 1 cast, caught a 2-pounder left on all 3 of them. I was like, wonderful. I got a limit feeling deal. I got a 10 pounds deal, and I need 2 to 3 bites a day to be in contention for this thing, because I was seeing like big ones.
Yeah.
Big ones. First day of the tournament, went down. My spot bass stuff was like Sadler's Creek, wasn't all the way down there. And I ran all of it without a bite. Like an hour and a half in, I was last flight. You were boat number 1.
I was boat 1. Unlucky boat number 1 too, may I add.
I was last flight. I ran all my spotted bass stuff, or my offshore spotted bass stuff, without a bite, not a one. And I said, uh-oh, big time, uh-oh. At that point, we had really good weather day 1. It was like
day 1 was nice.
75 by the end of the day. So I stayed in Sadler's. There's a couple, I noticed something throughout the week that was like plan X. I mean, it was way down the list of a plan. And it was just simply going into pockets that had a really deep running creek channel, throwing a Kitech at the last dock at them. It seemed like about every third one I'd pull into, if there was some bait, some fish activity, I would catch a fish. So I was like, let me just settle down. And before I go down, way down there, I'd like to have a couple fish in a live well. Like that was like my deal, where I was like, I wanted to gamble, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if those fish would bite. So I was like, I'm going to try and get a couple fish in a live well. Pulled up in a couple of them ditches, and I actually caught my first 2 on back-to-back casts on a jerkbait, little guys. Caught a couple more here and there. Filled out my limit once the sun came up on a Senko and Sadler's. Probably had like 9 pounds, and went down. Went down there, called twice on bonus fish before I had gotten to what I considered my juice. And then at about noon, I was like, I'm gonna get to my stuff early. I thought it wouldn't get right until about 2 or 3 o'clock when the sun really baked on them. And I was like, I'm going to just run back in there and throw a mag draft around and see if I can get one of them fish to bite early, just as a super bonus fish. Because at this point I had probably 11 pounds. I was like, I need a super bonus bite would be freaking cool, crazy right now. Go back in there. This is the crazy cool story of the week is I go there way down there. There's a road bed in the back of this pocket, and it opens back up into another pocket. But on the road bed, there's a big couple stumps and brush piles and stuff. Throw that mag draft up there, and I'm pulling it back to the boat, and I look at it, and dude, she is on it. I mean, a big girl, and I freak out, like heart stopper. Keep reeling it. She comes up, grabs the tail, and just turns off. She like literally mouthed the tail. I felt her bite it, but I saw that only the tail was gone, and she turned off. Then she had a 3-pounder come with her. He turned and looked at it and swam off again. Dude, I probably had 8 fish on day 1 over 3 pounds. Follow that thing or bite that thing, and did not hook up with one of them. Yeah. I mean, it was just pulling teeth. I'd say probably mid-afternoon, One of my last times through that area, and I mean, every time through, I'd seen him or spooked him or couldn't get him to bite. Something just, I saw him. I saw him just like I knew I would. I caught about a 2.5 pound largemouth on a friggin', I don't want to give this up. This is my like juice. It's something I know to do from back north. It's like when they're in that funky deal when you're seeing them but not catch them in the pre-spawn. I really don't know what people call that, but everyone talks about the post-spawn being the hardest time. Pre-spawn, that weird pre-spawn on these clear lakes can be tough because you can see them and they don't want to eat. I found up north, if you throw a 3-inch Senko on an itty bitty drop shot hook on 6-pound line and you don't spook them and you make a long cast, it's like, it's got to be so right. You can sometimes get those fish to bite. I caught a 2.5 pound largemouth doing that. Caught a couple other little ones doing that. Everything else, by the time I'd thrown that thing, I had already spooked. So it was like beating a dead horse. Started running back up. Couple places where I did see fish in practice, I didn't see him again. And then at the end of the day, I said I had a little bit of time and I had no gas. And I was like, I'm just going to run old Tyler's docks. Our buddy Tyler Lawwell, you've seen him on the program. He showed me these docks like 2 years ago. I qualified.
And they're still good.
I qualified in the FLW Natty off, or the FLW Natty off of them 2 years ago. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I qualified off of them this year on them. I mean, I pulled in there at the end of the day I had probably had like 12.5 pounds. So I culled for like a couple ounces at the end of the day there. I mean, nothing. Like but it was a cull. And I caught 2 other fish right around 2 pounds. Day one, I had 12, 10, almost all 2 1/4s, like just cookie cutters, that 1 2.5 largemouth, and a spot that was pushing 2.5. But I was getting bites in there. So day 2, I wake up and I have a really early boat draw. And I said, instead of my spotted bass deal's dead, my offshore deal, I said, I'm going to run Tyler's docks first thing. I ran them and same thing. I mean, it's dead. They're not there. There's bait in there and there's fish in there, but they're not biting, but just typical. So, but I for whatever reason, actually I know what reason is, that my trolling motor, I was afraid of that thing falling off, hit me in the face. I didn't want to run. So I just fished the whole string of docks, and halfway back in the string of docks, there's a little boat ramp. Same exact boat ramp where I caught my kicker off in the FLW tournament 2 years ago. I threw my Nico rig, Biz Baits Dizzy Diamond Nico rig plug. I threw that thing up there on the boat ramp. She ticks it, 3.5, 4 pound largemouth. Talk about a relief.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got something in the boat.
I got something in the boat. We're like an hour and a half in, and I got a really short day doing
by
it
that
245.
point, I had probably fished like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
After being last boat. And I think I had already had like 2 fish by that point.
It was a rough. Dude, day 2 was as ugly as it freaking gets for me. I caught that fish. That was fish number 1, like an hour and a half into a short day. I was doing it 245. Caught one more there on the last dock in the cut. That was like a 13.5 incher. I mean, she was a squirty McSquirterson. And dude, I didn't even run those ditches. I went straight down. I was like, I don't have a ton of time. I'm rolling the dice and I'm going straight down. I went all the way down there. Took forever because I was running slow and it was rough. It was just not happy times. I run all the way down there and I fished that place where I had that 6 bite my mag draft. Because I said, when I left that spot on day 1, I said, I'm coming back to get you tomorrow. I was like, I'm going to get you tomorrow. I didn't care if I caught another bass on day 2. I was catching that one. Go in there. Like I said, there was a boat, roadbed, stumps on the boat, roadbed, and there's one dock in the back of the pocket beyond the roadbed. I threw at that one stump that fish came off of probably 30 times. Every brush pile in there about 30 times. Dragged a Ned rig through the roadbed. Dragged a Nico through the roadbed. Dragged a jig. Dragged through the mag draft. Threw a jerk bait. DT10. I mean, I threw everything. Last ditch effort, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to gonna do what I do best. Throw that Ned rig on dock. Pull up at the dock, make one cast, nothing. Make another cast, dragging along, thunk, set the hook, and it was her. And she took me around the boat 18 times and got her on the boat 6 pounds even. It was magical. I filled out my limit.
Magical moment on the boat, on all range.
Magical. I filled out my limit, one on a Kitech, both on a Kitech actually, my last two. Or one on a Ned rig, one on a Kitech, whatever. Day 2 was ugly, but with those 2 good ones, I had almost 14 pounds, and the rest is history. Day 2 was a how-to on how not to spin out. That's what I would say.
Which is what I did day 1.
Yeah.
My turbo is very different from his turbo. Just saying. I don't think we're fishing the same lake. Practice for me, extremely tough, with the exception of the last day. The last day, when it's funny that you said what you said about the docks, because I don't think you told me that yet. With the Kitechs, that you were catching them on the deep docks, the last dock in the deep creek. I was catching them on the last day of practice. Like, I went in and I started fishing this row of docks, and I got to a dock. I was throwing a Kitech, caught one off of it. You can see this in the practice video. I'm like, all right, this dock. I'm looking at the graph, and I'm like, all right, this dock's in deep water.
Yeah.
But there's shallow water next to it. Like, it's the last dock before the next dock's in shallow water. I'm like, interesting.
Yep.
I went into the next cove, went to just the one dock that was the last dock before the shallow. Caught the next one off of it, which you see in the practice video. And I'm like, shit.
Yep.
I got something.
Yep.
I had 15 docks, I want to say, that I had got. There's those 2, and then I had cut the hook off the Kitech, and I had gotten fish to follow it off, or a mag draft, gotten them to follow it out. And I had like 15 docks. Day 1, I pull up. I had this one little like island deal, which you can see in the tournament videos. One little island deal I knew I could catch at least 2 or 3 out of. Went there, early morning thing, caught my 2, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like,
yeah.
I have a limit by like in the next like 3 hours. I ran all 15 of those docks.
Not a bite.
Not a bite. It completely, I don't know if people would run through it. It was up to Seneca. I don't know if people would run through it or what. They were gone. I hit all 15 of them and then spun out at that point. It was just like running around the lake like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Let me throw this. Let me throw that. I was hitting shit that I hit like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Day 2 for me was good, which is funny because you had a tougher day 2.
Oh, day 2 is wait, on paper, my day 2 looked
on
like,
paper, your day 2 is
he's
good.
consistent. He figured it out. Hell no.
See, on paper, my day 2 looks like shit because I technically zeroed.
Right.
My boat broke down. But day 2 for me, I had a limit by like, I want to say like 9:30.
Yeah.
I caught them all off the same little stretcher area. Kitech jerkbait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up, I went up. I was like, all right, I know I needed bigs. So I had a limit at like 9:30. I'm like, just gonna start looking for big fish. So I ran up into some dirty water, started flipping shit. Nothing. I ran back into them coves where I saw the big ones. Threw a floating fly.
Yeah.
Floating fly with a spook as a float. Didn't get those fish. And I'm like, well, all right, let me run back up into this area that I had seen a couple of fish in practice. And I ran up there, and it was thankfully right next to the boat ramp where I'd put in. And I got up there, and I fished for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, well, I think I'm going to go in early because that was the last boat. And I'm like, I'm just going to weigh in. Like, I at that point, I'd run through everything. And I went to crank it, and it just... Nothing.
But what happened when you went to put her on the trailer?
So I messed around with it. I called them. I'm like, I might need someone to come get me. I'm gonna try a couple things. I switched batteries around. It wasn't even spinning. I'm like, it seems like the battery's dead. Changed batteries. I pulled the throttle off and like hot wired the emergency kill switch, thinking that was dead. Checked all the fuses. I'm like, well, at that point I was so disappointed. I'm just like, I'm just gonna put it on the trailer. I put it on the trailer, And old B Hendricks, he put it in the same place as me. He'd come rolling in there, put his boat on a trailer, and he's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Listen, it doesn't do anything." I turned the key and it started immediately on the trailer. Something in the starting system. I literally ordered parts for it. They're sitting at the house. So, since then it's happened 4 more times, and now it seems to be a permanent problem.
But you solve it by
fixing it,
by beating the crap out of the starter.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Well, I don't even know if that was technically it. I had gone out this weekend with my buddy Marshall, and it ran fine for like most of the day, and then I pull into a spot and did the same thing. So I'm like, but this time it made a sound, and I'm like, that sounds like the starter. So I went back there, I took the cover off, I took a screwdriver, and I beat the living piss out of the starter for like 5 minutes. Put the cowling back on, started up immediately. I don't know. Apparently that's what I need to do in tournament, is just beat the crap out of it and start, but
Heck yeah.
That fix is no longer working. I'm probably pretty sure I broke the starter doing that. I think it was like seizing up, like some like rust had built up inside of it, corrosion.
Yeah.
Was keeping like the little like plunger from moving. So, but yeah, that's it. On to the next one for me.
Yeah.
I look for that qualification at Smith Lake.
Yeah. The biggest advice and takeaways I can offer anybody from this tournament are a few things. One, I learned something big time this tournament from my practice and my tournament, and how I like applied either, and what my little bit of regrets from practice. I did something in practice that I don't do often, and that's I had a game plan going into my practice. I usually stick to it. I usually say, I'm going to do this. This is my game plan for practice. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to go with it. That's going to be it. When I realized early in practice there were fish moving up, and big ones, I kind of half dedicated my practice to finding those fish. I do, to an extent, regret not looking offshore as much as I did, but at the same time, not really. Because what I did in practice is I looked for winning fish.
Yeah.
And everything I've heard from every pro has always told me that. Like if you want to do better in tournaments, fish for the win. Don't just fish for a check or to qualify, whatever the case may be. I fished to win this tournament. And I guess it's just the old cliche saying, you friggin' shoot for the moon, you land amongst the stars. That's kind of what happened here. I mean, that's kind of what happened in this tournament, dude. I mean, I told my dad, I told you guys, I mean, I told everybody, I was like, if I can get my fish to bite, I'm going to win. It's going to happen. I didn't, and I landed somewhere okay. So, I mean, obviously I'm not happy. I do regret on day 2. After I caught that fish, I saw a few more people like run some of the other areas, and instead of running new water or running to other areas, I said, let me just fill out this limit, because I had 3 at the time. Maybe since I got one of those bigger fish to commit, if I'd have poured the rest of my day in and down there and really just grinded it, I could have come out with 2 more 4-pounders instead of 2 more 13-inchers, which is what I ended up with. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But that's something I can definitely say is something I could have done to go for the win a little bit more. But now that I've qualified, I don't got to care about that. So I'm going to be going for the win.
Now you go swinging for the moon.
I'm going to be swinging. Nothing but swinging from here on out. But yeah, I mean, just do what you can do. I mean, I stayed in my comfort zone this week. I heard the rumblings from everybody that it was going to go down in the dirty water. And it might have been one. I don't know how dirty that water them guys were fishing were. I know that you had caught good fish in dirty water. I knew that. My buddy Trevor had
in practice. And it was weird.
Yeah.
I had pulled into this cove, and on 2 docks got one big donk.
Yeah.
I let swim with it. Second one, I was like, I'm gonna catch this one. I caught him. He was like a 3.
Yeah.
And I went back down there, and first day of the tournament, I believe it was, I ran back in there, and the water was like cleaner. And I was like, And I mean, the fish weren't there. They were largemouth, and I don't know where they went. But
yeah. No, I mean, I just, like you said, I stayed away from that. I committed to what I like to do, and it really played out for me. I mean, like I said, I do regret somewhat not looking for more of an offshore spot bass game because I know a lot of people caught them out deep. One thing I'll say is I will be the first to admit that electronic stuff is legit. You can catch them with that forward facing stuff, and it's hard for me to compete on those offshore fish without it. That being said,
you could certainly still do plenty well.
That being said, I was freaking ecstatic to go down to them fish and see maybe 2 or 3 boats in there fishing for them every day. I mean, I was alone. I don't think that had been the case 4 years ago or 2 years ago. So as far as I'm concerned, y'all keep looking deep. But
I would imagine that the dudes that won, I bet you they weren't using it.
No, they were fishing. They
not
said
in the back of docks.
In the article, they said the backs of docks. I don't know how you'd utilize it there.
Unless they were fishing deep docks. I can't imagine they were catching them that way.
No, I can't either. Not on a chatterbait and a jig. But yeah, man. I mean, just stick to your guns. And obviously, I found fish deep. They just left on me, and I could catch them because I did. But they just dipped on me, and maybe if I'd found 1 or 2 more of those spots, they would have stayed on one more. Who knows? But the best piece of advice I could take away is fish for the win.
Yeah.
Balls to the wall. You'll land somewhere amongst the stars.
So that's it. That's Hartwell. You've come away with the recap plus a great saying that you can tell anyone you want.
That you've never heard before.
You've never heard before is a new one. So...
what else we got? We got to run through this.
We got to run through some stuff quick here.
I got homework due.
First, we got a Bassmaster Open.
Yes.
Harris Chain of Lakes.
Keith Tuma.
Keith Tuma won.
I'm stealing from you, Luke Duncan. Sorry about it.
58-13.
Big bag on day 3.
Yes. Giant bag.
What do you have? 26 and a half?
No, because Bassmaster.
Go to the top. We're going to teach Andrew how to use Bassmaster. Go to the top. Yeah. And go to day 3. Yeah. Keith Tuma.
Of course, it doesn't load.
It'll load one day.
Alex Weatherall. Alex Bassmaster.
Yeah.
Finished second
Connect
place.
that cup, boy.
Yeah. Connecticut. Connecticut coming out strong. It doesn't want to load there, bud. Day 3, 26-2. Nice sack. It's a good one.
After the one and only opens killer led it on day 1.
Yeah. Patty Walters.
He just, it's like if he enters an open, he's going to top 5.
Yeah, he's going to do good.
He makes money every time he fishes one, it seems.
Another notable finish from this one.
Oh, is it the Lunkers watch?
No.
We're gonna start. This is a new segment.
Yeah, Lunkers watch on Bass Now Radio.
Lunkers watch on Bass Now Radio. Keep going.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go all the way to the bottom of the
website. But that's not too far from where he finished.
Oh, Rob Turkla, Lunkers TV. He zeroed on day 1, which made my day.
Zip.
There he is. He zipped, and then second day, 9:14.
Bag.
Absolute sack. Finished
Would like to note,
and 92nd.
I hope to God somebody watched this YouTube video that like brings this up to him. I'd like to note that on his YouTube video, he titled it something, big comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, I would call 9-14 a big comeback in Florida.
Big comeback.
Maybe if he was fishing the MLF College Series event, yeah, that would have been a comeback.
Yeah. Yeah. But in Florida in February, I don't know if that qualifies.
I don't think it qualifies.
No. When you go from last place to 192nd, hard to call that a big comeback, Lunkers.
So, yeah, that was Harris Chain. Couldn't tell you how it was won. Didn't do enough research on that. I think it was grass, yeah. Do you want
to... anytime there's a Florida tournament, you don't know how it's won?
Just grass.
Grass.
You want to talk about Smith?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it too much.
Will I bring up MPFL?
I will note one thing for you, my good buddy. On day 3, Cody Meyer weighed in bass on a float and fly.
Yes. Yes.
I watched it happen. He threw it was sitting out there, and you sit there looking at it, and he sets the hook, and you see it go into the water, and he reels it in, and you see this big orange thing in the net with the bass.
And maybe, and that one person that DM'd me on Instagram that said I was crazy. Ha!
But dude, John Cox, the man,
He finally got it done on Smith.
dude,
Finally.
he's a machine.
Absolute animal.
A machine. He's fishing 872 tournaments this year. And I think he's fishing 21 tournaments. He's won one of them already. What do you want to put the over-under on wins for the year, John Cox?
For John Cox.
2 of the Elite Series are out of the way, and the pro circuit on Okeechobee is out of the way.
And Smith.
So he's won 25% of the tournaments. And he's got 17 to go. How many?
I think he wins
17?
3 more times. 4 total.
3 more.
Yeah.
3 more.
Yeah.
I was gonna put the number at 2.5 over under. So
3.
he's taking the over, folks. I'm gonna say it's hard not to roll with you. Dude, flipping shallow. Everybody else is doing all kinds of different stuff. He's on his game. Just proving to you that live scope is not necessary to win derbs these days. Sorry, Bryson.
Tough.
How did John Cox
John Cox is John.
how did
Fake John Cox. John Cox.
how did John Cox 2 do?
John Cox too. He in
Woo!
the MPFL on Lake Eufaula. That's the next event we're gonna talk about.
We need to come up with a good nickname for John Cox too.
John Cox 2. He finished in 41st.
Luke Duncan
on day 1.
Luke
I think.
Duncan has a good one. The one but not only.
The one, but not only. I dig that.
Big shout out to our boy Luke Schrader.
Luke Schrader
got himself a
finished in the
check. 35th, 33rd place finish. I want to say.
So yeah, MPFL. You follow
John-
won by John Sukup.
Sokup.
I don't know. I love the name.
Good name.
53.9.
Yeah.
3-day total. Won himself 50 grand.
Yeah.
David Gaston finished in second, 52. Wow.
Yep.
50.2. So
I've got a Lunker's watch, and then I've got to take.
I'm looking for the Lunker's watch.
He finished 45th, I want to say, which is hysterical considering I think they pay out 44 places.
Yes. He finished in 45th. Was he in the money?
No,
he wasn't. No. They pay out 36 places.
Oh, so Luke was one
place
barely in. Okay.
So yeah, Lunkers did better in this tournament. A little bit better. He had a 3-day total of 27.4.
Yep.
He caught 6.13, 8.3, and
So
12.4.
for your best professional tournament finish, Lunkers TV,
Congratulations.
I clap.
All around claps.
It's all downhill from here.
I don't know what's next, but you had Florida where you'd think Scott Martin would have gave some advice to not have a 0 in the first day. And I can't say that he's going to get the same advice for other places.
Probably not. I have a hot take.
Yeah, what's your hot take?
I'm interested to hear your hot take. To hear your reaction.
I'm waiting for your hot take.
To hear your reaction to my hot take. It was conversated about with a one T squared, who we all know and love and hate, depending on who the listeners of this podcast are. If you're Lunkers TV, you're probably hating. Keep those up. Keep that up.
Okay.
I'm disappointed.
Yes. Explain to me.
You're disappointed too, actually. I'm not as disappointed as you about the other thing. They had some technical difficulties on day 1.
Yeah, I mean,
some on day 2.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say I'm disappointed about that they had technical. It was first tournament. It's gonna happen,
Yeah. If they don't get it squared away for the next one, I'll be disappointed.
Yes.
But I wasn't disappointed the first one. Whole boop, boop, bop, boop, bop. I am disappointed in the weights. For guys that are fishing at a professional level, I feel like the opens would have produced a better result. I'm not totally discrediting these weights yet. I think Eufaula has gotten the living shit beat out of it lately. Bad. I mean, people have fished that place up and down like a jillion times. The Red Crest was just there. Not saying that's a ton of pressure, but those guys know what they're doing. There's a 150 ABA event there recently. Eufaula's been getting the crap beaten out of it. It also just went through that cold thing. A lot of stuff going on here. That being said, I still expected weights to be significantly better. I'm giving them a half pass on this event. We'll see what happens on Wright Patman, even though I think they're going to stroke him because it's a lake that not a lot of people fish. I don't know. I like watching it a lot. I think these guys can fish. I think you're going to see guys that do go on and fish other tours. And I just, unless something changes, I don't know. I'm interested to see how the rest of the year goes.
I'm going to give them the same thing as
I'm just
technical difficulties.
I'm not impressed with the weights. I'll put it that way.
I'm going to give it the same thing as technical difficulties. We'll see how the next tournament goes.
Yeah.
I will tell you, for the first MPFL, the commentators.
Great.
Fantastic.
They did great. Luke and Dudley were great.
And I like Fat Cat. He had some good fun takes.
He had a good mixture of really just like off the walls Fat Cat and also stuff.
Yeah.
And I have one more thing to say. Oh, huge shout out to Hunter Bogman or Bogman. I don't know how you say the guy's name. Did you see him?
No.
He's a guy. He lost his legs.
Oh, yes.
Part of his hands to bacterial meningitis.
Yeah.
Something that you get when you're a little baby.
I was watching him fish.
Dude.
He fished better than me.
Dude can catch him.
He
Dude can catch the crap out of him. And I went back and looked at his FLW stuff. Dude catches them. Toyotas, BFLs, team tournament events in Arkansas. Dude's a hammer. Like good. Like really good. So I love that guy.
I had a conversation with him at...
Did you really?
Yeah. Knoxville? I think it was Knoxville.
Okay.
It was at one of the classics. I think it was Knoxville.
It's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude.
I listened to him on Duncan's podcast the other day. He had him on. I'm that guy's biggest fan this year.
Yes, it was Knoxville.
Okay.
It was a fantastic combo of people that I was talking to.
Let's hear it.
It was me and him and Noah Pescatelli.
Oh.
At the Mystery Tackle Box booth.
That is interesting.
I think. Yeah. Yeah. Cool guy.
Did you recognize him when you saw him on the MPFL?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Because he had fished. I can't remember I saw him fish one time in something else. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Dude was, inspiring stuff. And he was probably the most exciting to watch because he was actually like legitimately catching better numbers than anybody else they had on live. He was offshore fishing. He said his fish were going away every day, but like dude was catching 30 fish a day. Dude was stroking them. It's cool to watch. I mean, the way he was swinging fish in the boat and getting down and lipping them, like it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's some crazy stuff, man.
I am done hearing anybody's excuses. I'll put it that way. I'm done because that dude he says he has no excuses and goes out there and does it better than a lot of us. A lot of us. I mean, dude can catch them. So super cool to watch that stuff go down. I feel like we're missing an event. The Elite Series event coming up tomorrow or Thursday. Pickwick. They're going to smash them.
Absolute smash.
I'm sold on it. They're going to smash them. I'm ready for it.
I'm calling it right now.
Oh,
here's the call.
Hold on.
The winner of this event, Seth Fighter.
Ooh. I like it.
Oh, absolutely, dude. He's going to kill.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like it a lot, but I like it a lot.
You should like it a lot.
What do you think's going to happen? Give me the rundown.
I think it should be a mixed bag. Smallmouth, largemouth.
Okay. He's a river guy.
He's a river guy.
He's a grass guy.
But smallmouth. You can get some big smallmouth in Pickwick. I've seen it happen.
You can get some big ones.
You can also sit there and catch a lot of fish that are a half inch below the.
I like it though. Grass is gonna play. He can fish the crap out of some grass. Mm-hmm. Smallies are gonna play. He can catch the crap out of some river smallies.
He's my pick.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I really don't know what to think about totals.
I like it a lot.
I want to say 18 a day, but I've been so off on weights recently. What do you think? Let me hear yours.
20.
You thinking 20?
80 pounds. Maybe more. I could see 21 a day doing it.
I'm going to stick with 18.
Somebody's going to drop 26 or 27
just so
pounds.
I can keep my absolutely awful streak.
You heard it here first. You heard Seth Fighters winning. I like the pick. Here's my pick. You're going to see a 26.5 pound stringer caught. 26.8 plus.
And who wins?
I like your fighter pick.
I've heard some people say Zaldane.
I like Zaldane too, but he's had a tough go at it. You got to see him turn around before I go picking him to win things. But you want to speak out people that have won things.
Who you got?
Leads into your prediction you made 5 or so minutes ago.
Seth Fight? What?
Johnny C. Back-to-back pro events. I think he shows up
back to back
and just does it again. Just run it back. John Cox.
Does he go wide to wire? That'd be impressive.
I don't know about that. That would be something else.
That would be impressive.
That would be 7 days in a row leading a tournament.
I kind of want to see it. I do too. See it.
I think I could see John winning this tournament though. I mean, he's the dude. They're moving up. It's getting right.
No, I'm still going.
John Cox.
I'm still going fighter.
I like fighter.
He's gonna be losing a lot of that Wu Tungsten drop shot weights.
I don't think so. I don't think any of that's gonna be going down.
You don't think so?
No.
I think it will be.
I mean, swim bait.
That too will be working.
Jerk bait, crank bait, and then
maybe swim jig.
Head stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff for heads.
Stuff in the grease.
Stuff for heads.
So yeah. This was a really long episode.
It was a really long episode. We got one more thing we want to mention. We're going to bring it down to earth for a minute here.
Bring it down. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Take a sip of the brew. All right. For those who are not in Carolina people.
Carolina area.
Just college bass people, Bassmaster people, or not Bassmaster people, but fish heads. If you're from anywhere fish heads, I don't know if this is how much press this is getting outside of our little bubble. Carolinas are kind of a somewhat tight-knit community of bass fishermen, and I feel like we all are kind of know of everybody at least.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more tight-knit than a lot of areas.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think Alabama's got their group. Texas probably got some. I mean, Texas.
I know Texas is huge,
but Carolinas are very tight knit. I mean, everybody knows everybody through BFLs and team tournament events and so on and so forth. Many of you probably know of Erskine College. If you're into college fishing or follow our podcast or whatever the case may be, they're a school in South Carolina down by Hartwell. They had a bunch of teams fish this past basketball. They're a growing school. They remind me of like a SCAD.
Yeah.
In that they're kind of blowing up and they're really pushing fishing. A young angler on their team, I believe he was 18 years old. His name is Jack Hunt. Him and another guy we know from this area, from North Carolina, were out night fishing last week on Lake Secession.
Lake Secession, yep.
Where there was recently a giant bag caught. But they're out night fishing. Something happened. I'm not going to go ahead and read into rumors and things I've heard. I'm just going to go out and say something happened on the water where there was a boating accident and Jack passed away. I believe the other guy is fine or okay.
Yes, he's fine.
Healthy. Jack passed away. And I don't know about you. I don't know when you heard about this. I heard about it like either the next day or 2 days later or something like that.
Yeah, I heard about the next day.
I kind of heard about
just
it.
because I know the other dude that was involved through our high school volunteering. So I had him on social medias and stuff. So I had seen stuff. So
yeah, I kind of heard like rumors or some whispers about it before it kind of went on social media. But regardless, it hit me like a dang freight train, dude. I mean, not to take it like selfishly or anything like that, but dude, I mean, we night fish a lot, sort of. I've picked it up a lot in the last 6 months and like really enjoyed it. And more so than that, just like somebody so young, so like relatable to us doing, not even that it was at night, because it can happen same thing at day. To like just doing what he loved and hit the end of the line. I mean, just hit me hard. I want to send my deepest condolences to his family, friends, Erskine College, the whole lot of it. I mean, I don't even know what to say, dude. It honestly hit me like a freight train. I was when it happened, I was at a lost words. I'm at a lost words now. It's
certainly a reality check, and especially in bass fishing. Like I grew up like racing, and racing, that's always in the back of your mind because you're driving a car at a very high rate of speed. But to have it happen in bass fishing, like, I mean, we're doing the same thing. We're driving a boat at an extremely high rate of speed, and you know, stuff happens. You know, accidents happen, and it's definitely, you got to have all your safety devices in place. And even then, you know, it still might not be enough. And it's one of those tough situations that, you know, it's just something that's part of the sport, really, and it's unfortunate that they can't make it any safer than it is, most likely.
Yeah.
But definitely thoughts and prayers go out to his family and all the guys over at Erskine College.
Absolutely.
A couple of our guys are going to be going down there. If anyone's around Lake Secession, Friday night.
Yeah, here, I'll give you guys the details. If you're in the area somewhat and you hear this before Friday night, you're not doing nothing, or if you are doing nothing, you feel like going down anyways. The Lake Secession boat ramp, about 11:30 p.m. at night on Friday. There's going to be a few words, and there's going to be a lantern lighting for Jack. The address is 2040 Antaville Highway, Iva, South Carolina. I'm assuming it's posted, so I'm assuming this is kind of open to people. I saw this, and I'm going. So if you're around, if you're able to go, I would encourage you to go and show your support. If not, obviously I understand, but reach out and post something for Jack. There's a couple of social media things going around.
Yeah, hashtag caught it for Jack.
And just, you know, think about it for a minute. If you're into bass fishing, or if you're night fishing, I go night fishing a lot recently, at least. If you're night fishing, if you go bass fishing a lot, you go fast. I don't go fast, so I'm not gonna say I don't have to worry about it as much, but if you really go fast, you really got to worry about the stuff. I mean, it's like you said, it's
That's
you
coming
don't
on a
think about
weekend
it.
that we've had two boating accidents now. There was Aaron Britt had a boating accident in the Toyota Series, and was thankfully okay.
Came out without a scratch, and another one
with opposite results. So.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, awful. So just like you said, I mean, you don't think about it. I don't think about it ever. I mean, and these things can happen. I mean, it's a crazy, you know, whether it be rough water, whether it be things floating in the water. We deal with that a lot on our, especially like the lakes like the Yadkin chain or river systems. You know, you deal with these things where you know, and then you have people, you know, people say, oh, you can't see, you can't hit it. Be careful, guys. I mean, it's like you said, it's high speeds. It's all for, we all love it as much as we do. It's nothing that's worth ending your life over.
Yeah.
Just tragic. And again, I'm so sorry, and reaching out to the family and those who knew Jack. It's just a terrible situation. And we're thinking of y'all for sure.
So But on that note,
On that somber note.
we're going to end our longest episode.
Yeah.
Ever.
Period.
100% the longest episode ever.
It's been a long one. We've had a lot to talk about. We should maybe try next time to get our episode out when we meant to, or else things wouldn't pile up like they have.
Next week we'll be talking about whatever happened in Pickwick. We'll see John Cox or Seth Fighter. We'll see who does it.
And maybe we'll have a guest on. Maybe we'll have yet another. We're getting big into the guest game.
Yeah, we like guests.
We're moving up from little league to like high school.
Yeah, we're approaching potentially being drafted.
I don't even know for a high school team. We're like a middle school travel team.
Middle school travel.
We're better than a middle school team.
No, I think we're JV high school.
Okay, I like
JV
that.
high school.
JV high school.
But I appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yes.
Tight lines. We'll see you next week.
I'm gonna go do homework and go to bed.
I'm gonna play some video games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Take care.